Well, the International Olympic Committee President Jacques Rogge has endured what will probably be his most uncomfortable engagement at the London Games. He faced cries of shame for refusing to allow a minute's silence during London's opening ceremony to remember the victims of 1972's Munich massacre. 11 Israeli Olympians were killed by Palestinian militants there. The BBC's Jonathan Josephs reports.
The faces of the 11 Israelis reminded the audience why they were here. This ceremony, to remember them, was organised by Britain's Jewish community alongside Israel's government and Olympic Committee. They felt compelled to do so because despite international outrage at what happened in Munich, the International Olympic Committee has refused to include a minute's silence in an opening ceremony ever since.
It was a truly shocking act of evil, a crime against the Jewish people, a crime against humanity, a crime that the world must never forget.
It's 40 years since Palestinian militants from the Black September group entered the Olympic Village and killed 11 of the Israeli team. They'd wanted the release of scores of Palestinian prisoners. It ended with a botched rescue attempt in an airfield. Ever since, the victims' families have campaigned unsuccessfully for their minute silence. The widow of fencing coach Andre Spitzer accused the IOC of being motivated only by power and money.
So shame on you, International Olympic Committee, because you have forsaken the 11 members of your Olympic family. You are discriminating against them only because they are Israelis and Jews.
The man she was addressing faced cries of shame from the audience, and it was clearly uncomfortable for him to hear, despite choosing to be there.
Even after 40 years, it is painful to relive the worst days in the history of the Olympic movement. I can only imagine how painful it must be for the families and close personal friends of the 11 Olympians.
Candles were lit for the victims, but the campaign for a more public memorial burns on. The IOC president, Jacques Rogge, has heard what was said here before, and it remains extremely unlikely that he'll change his mind before the end of London 2012. But the families of those who died in Munich are clear. They won't rest their campaign until the 11 victims have their memorial. Jonathan Josephs, BBC News, at the Guildhall in the City of London.
Now to a sport you won't find on the Olympic roster, at least not yet. Whether you call it skipping or jump rope,